Welcome to the Addiction Connection podcast, connecting the hope of the gospel with the heart of addiction. I'm Mark Shaw. This is CJ McMurray.
Here.
That was your cue. And I like to have fun.
We have too much fun together.
We do have fun. We're going to have a fun podcast on this one because 3 months ago, back in April, there was a situation where the Refuge, where you're the founder of that organization, the program director, the Refuge went through a crisis, and we sent out an email to all of our TAC family, and that's what we are, as a family.
Amen.
We sent it out and we said, pray for the Refuge. There is danger, potential problems, things going on that were really gravely concerning in terms of, what could happen at the Refuge, what could happen next. And so you're going to tell us about that story. We're going to start with scripture, 1 Corinthians 16. Paul's writing this, and he says in verse 8, "But I will stay in Ephesus until Pentecost, for a wide door for effective work has opened to me, and there are many adversaries." So, CJ, tell us a little bit about what happened in April of 2024 that concerned you and your leadership team at the Refuge.
Okay, yeah, will do. So, yeah, it was kind of, we had been operating since January 2020 in our residential program. We had rented a house and we were paying rent, and we had checked with the county to make sure that we were, going by the codes and the stipulations, and we were zoned correctly, according to they zoned us, whatever. I don't remember what the exact, I don't know all the details of the laws, but they zoned us the way they zone every other residential program kind of in Iowa. They zoned us that way, and we thought we were fine. And for 4 years, we functioned that way, and God has blessed the ministry, and we've had, right around 60 to 65 men that have came through the program since January of 2020.
That's great.
And God has just done incredible things in the ministry. And so we were just going along. Well, we decided we didn't want to rent forever, and God blessed us. We were able to raise, within 3 months, enough $250,000 to purchase a building, our own building, so we could have our own building out south of Winterset. And so we were all excited to get into our new building and do renovations and getting all this thing started. And then all of a sudden, we'd heard just a few things with some of the neighbors, just had some concerns, and I get it. It's a new program coming out there. They don't know a lot about it. So there was just some concerns, and it created some, I think a lot of talk, and there was probably some misconceptions on what the Refuge really did, what kind of ministry we were. And so, long story short, we had to go, and the board of supervisors had talked with some of the board of the supervisors, and some of these folks that were a little upset about us moving out to this new place had talked to the zoning commissioner, and somehow there was some confusion, and the zoning commissioner had kind of decided, or I think he was confused as far as exactly if we were zoned correctly. So they told us that we weren't zoned correctly, and that we were going to have to, that there was a potential that we would have to shut down our residential program.
Wow. So
that's kind of where it landed. And then we were just like, oh my, this is serious. Still trust in the Lord, but at first it was just like, whoa, what do we do now? And so we started praying and asking and, seeking counsel. And that's when we sent out, and you guys had sent out an email. And so we were just pretty nervous. I'm not going to tell you that we weren't a little nervous on, are the doors going to get shut?
Oh yeah.
Our church, our community in many ways loved the Refuge. And so this was the first probably time that we felt a lot of opposition. And I think some of it was, I have no ill will towards even some of the folks that may not love that we're moving out there. And I get it. It's new. There was probably just some, like I said, some misconceptions on what we do at the Refuge. And So that's kind of where it was. And then by God's grace, it wasn't long. It was just a few days later, we had to go in front of the board of supervisors, a meeting that was public. And usually there's like 40 or 50 people that show up in that room with the board of supervisors meeting. But there was like almost 200 people that showed up. The church, people in the community. We had graduates, parents and family that came from miles away to come and share the impact that the Refuge had on their life or their family's life. And so there was a few people there that weren't for us. And then there were a lot of people there that were. So the overwhelming support and love and that we received was awesome. And then all the prayers from people all over the world, from the Addiction Connection family, from ACBC family, IABC family, just all over, was overwhelming. So and by God's grace, it turned out in our favor at that meeting. It was just a few days after the meeting that they said that we were zoned correctly. And now we're back to just functioning. We're getting ready to move into our new building here in the fall. And right now we haven't heard a lot from some of those folks, and I'm sure there's going to be, hopefully we will win them over with love and when we move out there. But right now it's been pretty quiet, so I haven't heard a lot. But they're not we don't look at them like they're our enemies or anything like that. And I hope that we'll be able to, win them over with the love of Christ in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Ephesians 6 reminds us that we're in spiritual battles, and these people aren't your enemies. It's the spiritual forces at war, and so you guys did what was right. You stepped up. You showed what an encouraging time to hear the testimonies and to see the support. I mean, God took this very dark, grim moment to turn it into something that was praiseworthy to Him and encouraging to you guys.
Oh yeah, people from our church showed up, and I mean, you had, like families that had young kids that said, we love the Refuge, and we love that our kids, we feel comfortable with our kids being around the guys that are at the Refuge. They're a blessing to us. And so it was just so neat to see them come and just, support us the way they did. And I will say that it was good for the staff of the Refuge and the board for us to kind of work through something and still be God honoring and not look at it like this was a fight between us and them. And God he was extremely faithful, and He's been faithful from the start. And the way we looked at it is that I still, I'm not going to lie, I was nervous. What's our future going to look like? What are we going to do? But at the end of the day, I told my wife, I said, our mission at the Refuge is to take the light of the gospel into the darkness of addiction. That's not going to change. If they shut down our residential portion of the program, we're still going to take the light of the gospel into the darkness of addiction. It just might look different. And so we were prepared to continue on with the Refuge, even though it might have looked different.
The business world, they call that a pivot. You were ready to pivot and have to do, if you had to do something different, you'd do it differently. But
the mission don't change, though.
Yeah.
The mission's not going to change because it's what God has called us to.
What do you think are some life lessons for you guys and for all of us as a result of this?
I think a big one is to stay, or it's either to stay humble or get humble. It's whether, sometimes this stuff like that can kind of humble you and it just causes you to be like, hey, you know what? God's in charge and I just need to be faithful. And sometimes it's good for me to, I don't have to, one thing there was times where there were some false things being said about me and even other leaders at the Refuge. And at first I wanted to defend and stand, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to let the Lord fight this one for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've sinned, I need to own that and ask for forgiveness.
Sure.
But if it's just false accusations, I'm just not even going to in some of that, just because I think there were some people upset and there was just a lot of things that were being thrown out there, but not to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And to just stay humble, stay low, trust the Lord, and in
Ephesians 6, stand.
Yeah.
Now, in this passage we read, but I will stay in Ephesus until Pentecost, for a wide door for effective work has opened to me, and there are many adversaries. This is Paul writing in 1 Corinthians 16. Tell us a little bit about these verses.
Well, actually, Pastor Jason, our lead pastor, sent this to the day after all this kind of went down, and he was praying in the morning, and he'd sent it, and I just thought, and he was saying, this is a great opportunity for the church to shine, and for us to be still to let our light shine even in the midst of this. And again, this was, even for the Refuge, there was a lot of publicity. And it wasn't really the kind of publicity that we wanted. I mean, we were on the Des Moines News, Channel 8, the major news. And not that they probably did the stories justice, but it was still like, there are a lot of people that started calling. We started receiving emails and calls about people's family needing help. And so we got a lot of, I guess, attention, whether we wanted it or not. And we want to be effective because a wide door is for effective. We want to be effective for the sake of the gospel, even when there's adversaries, even when there's naysayers, and we want to still, I think of Matthew 5:13-16, where it talks about letting our light shine before others. And we wanted to stay salty and lit up for the glory of God and the way we went about things. So I just think sometimes the wide door for effective work doesn't look the way you think it's going to, but you have to make the most of it and the best of it when it comes your way, even if it's negative.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you sharing the story, updating everyone, because I'm sure most people, I hope, saw the updates on Facebook, and we sent an update email out to everybody at that time, but that was just a few days after this. But you're giving us the bigger picture update. So now the exciting work is you're building this new place, and it was just framed yesterday. Tell us about that.
Yeah, all the bedrooms are getting framed up, and the bathrooms. And so the building is already there, and the building was just built in 2022. So it's a very new building, nice building, but it had a lot of empty space, a lot of stuff that wasn't done inside. So we're kind of doing all the renovating, in there now. And so, just yesterday, within like 5 hours, they had 3 or 4 bedrooms done and 3 bathrooms. And so it's happening quick. Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
It is.
And so Lord willing, we'll be in there in the fall, and that'll be our own spot. And it's outside of town a little more. It's a little better spot in many ways. And our direct neighbors, we really like them and they like us. And so we're just excited to have our own spot out there and kind of customize things the way we want it. It's been nice. We're thankful for the place that we've rented for 4 years, but it'll be nice to have our own spot.
And you can increase your capacity for ministry as the Lord leads and grows it.
Right now we have the capacity for 6 in the house that we're in. This house will end up having the capacity for 12 or 14 eventually, but we don't see ourselves getting there overnight. That's a process as well. But I also wanted to just take this time too, to just so thankful for the prayers of the saints throughout this. Like we felt it, we felt the support and the love, and prayer is, it is crucial, and it is crucial. And I'll tell you what, I know we were being prayed for all over the world. People from even, out of the country, we were getting emails from people. So
that's great.
Very grateful for all of you.
Well, we've got a big network and we've got a big family in the Addiction Connection. We gather every year, annually. Well, that means every year. In Cincinnati, Ohio, this year at Grace and Truth Church, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for the summit. And there'll be a lot of people there who love you and want to express their love and share that with you. And you're good at loving other people. So a chance for the family to get together and have a family reunion.
Amen.
Maybe we'll just call it, instead of a summit, we'll call it our family reunion. Maybe we'll change it to that. Maybe after 10, we'll change
after
it.
10.
Number 11 will be. This will be number 8. Number 9 will be next year, and then 10, and then we'll change it.
Is that really? This will be number 8?
This is number 8.
You know
Hard
what?
to believe.
The Refuge banquet that's coming up, this is number 8.
Oh, wow.
We're on the same?
Yeah.
That is crazy, if that's true.
For these events.
This is,
Yeah, we've been around, the ministry's been around 12 years, the Addiction Connection.
Right.
But the summits, this is our 8th annual summit. So
Wow.
And by annual, I mean every year.
Every year. I've been to more. You've been there every year.
I'm such a good teacher.
You've been there every year. I've been there at least 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
haven't.
Maybe.
You only missed one.
I think I've only missed one.
Yeah. And that's because you let other people go. That was really nice. You let Ben come. We wanted to see Ben.
Right. This year we get to both come.
Yeah. And I'm going to hug Ben. He doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, that's
He's
awesome.
not much of a hugger,
That's
but I'm
great.
going to hug him. You're going to get him in the hot tub.
Maybe he'll go. Yeah, maybe he'll sit in the hot tub with us at the hotel.
Ben is cringing right now. I can't believe those guys are talking about that.
We gotta have.
We
fun.
want him. Yeah, Ben Funkhauser is the administrator of the Refuge.
Yeah, he's the executive director because there's nothing executive about me.
Yeah,
He's the
You're
brains,
the hands-on.
I'm the heart.
Yeah.
Right, that's kind of the way we operate. And
we're thankful for him. We're thankful for Pastor Jason Gerwell, who leads the church family so well, but he loves the ministry and what you guys are doing and what you're about, and he supports it 100%. Right. And to have a pastor like that is rare. And it's a rare jewel and of a blessing for you guys. So
Amen.
Grateful for him as well. Andy Biddle, I know he's not part of your church, but I
on the board
love
of the
that
Refuge.
guy. Oh, is he? I didn't realize he was on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Andy and Julie, and so yeah, they're wonderful people.
Right.
So you have a great group there in Iowa, and Iowa's a beautiful place.
Right.
Lots of good potatoes in Iowa.
Oh, jeez. Corn, potatoes, Idaho. Who cares about Idaho?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I like to tease you about that since so many people get mixed up with Idaho and Iowa. They just tell you that good potatoes.
I mean, we do have potatoes in Iowa.
You do have them, but not like Idaho.
Right. No,
like
Idaho. They got us.
Well, the Lord's doing a work there. Thank you for what you're doing. And thanks for sharing and giving us this update, because it is important to let people know how to pray for you guys. Now, tell them before we go, what's the website, phone number, contact information, whatever you want to tell us.
Okay.
How do people learn about the Refuge?
So go to www.refugewinterset.com, or you can email at cj.therefuge@gmail.com or refuge@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, which I think there's probably like a million other refuges. So you'll have to make sure you put Refuge Winterset.
Winterset, Iowa, which is the birthplace of
John Wayne.
Drum roll.
John Wayne.
John Wayne.
Marion is actually his real name. But I don't know. It's not really as tough as John.
We'll call him John Wayne.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our claim.
There's a museum there in Winterset if anybody wants to come see you.
We have the covered bridges too. So that's kind of our covered bridges.
Yep.
They had the bridges of Madison County with Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep years ago.
Yep.
So they got that one, and then John Wayne.
Yeah. There's a lot.
And there's just a lot of godly people there too.
Yeah.
And ungodly. There you get a little bit of both. So it's great.
Yeah.
But,
grateful to the Lord for how he handled this situation, how he took these concerns and this, at one point it was looking very dire.
Yeah.
And we spared people a lot of those details, but there was a really dark moment in all of this, and where it was like, is this going to shut down? And of course, now we know, hey, you guys would have kept going in some capacity, some way. But look at what God's doing. He's blessing you even through adversity, and it's all about him anyway. It's his ministry. Right. It's not ours. It's not yours.
He shuts it down. He's sovereign.
He can do whatever he wants.
Amen.
And we trust him, and we know it's good.
Amen.
Well, thanks, CJ, and thank you all for tuning in. Take care, and God bless.